Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on a topic buzzing with potential for independence and, that satisfying feeling of building something yourself, starting and running your own one-person lawn care business.
Yeah,
If you're like many of you listening and wanting to get up to speed quickly on ventures that could offer real rewards, well, you're definitely in the right place.
exactly. And for this deep dive, we've pulled together some really practical resources. We looked at advice from a marketing specialist, Barry Kooks, over at Volusia County Public Library. He sees what makes small local businesses tick.
Okay.
We've also got overviews of the lawn care industry itself, the realities of maybe starting this as a side hustle first,
Good angle.
the basic steps to get a company set up, and of course the big one, how to make sure the numbers actually work in your favor, profit margins.
Right.
So our goal here is really to give you the essential info, the straight facts on launching and hopefully thriving as a solo lawn care operator, covering the initial setup, operations, financials, the whole picture.
Okay, so the image, it's appealing, right? Cruising around on a mower, sunshine, but let's get real. Before you even think about finding clients, you kind of need to look inward first, don't you? It's not just about wanting to be the boss.
No, definitely not.
It's about having the right stuff, skills, and maybe even a genuine passion for this kind of work.
Absolutely. I mean, being physically fit enough, that's sort of a given, but our sources really emphasize needing some actual hands-on know-how.
Like what specifically?
Well, have you actually used different kinds of lawn equipment? Are you comfortable, say, doing basic maintenance to keep your tools from breaking down? And maybe surprisingly, even a little bit of understanding about basic landscaping design, just knowing what looks good that can really make your service stand out, add real value.
So it's more than just pure muscle power. What if someone's really keen but maybe hasn't spent, a ton of time with professional mowers or trimmers? Is that a non-starter?
Oh, not at all. Not a deal breaker. Our research points to things like local extension services or community workshops. They can be fantastic for building up those specific skills.
Okay, so there are ways to learn.
Definitely. Think of it like an investment. As Barry Kooks often points out, the more you know, the more value you bring. But it's not just the technical side either.
Right.
You're going to be the face of the business. So those interpersonal skills, how you talk to clients, how you network to find new ones, how you basically sell yourself, they're just as critical.
Okay, makes sense. So you've checked those boxes, you've got the aptitude, the drive.
Yeah.
Now, how do you start making this into like an actual business? This is where that business plan idea comes in, and honestly, it can feel pretty intimidating.
It really can feel overwhelming. That's often a sticking point for people. But, like Barry Kooks at the library often tells folks starting out, your initial plan doesn't need to be some massive 100-page document.
Goodness.
Yeah. Think of it more like answering some basic but really important questions for yourself first.
Yeah.
Like realistically, what kind of consistent monthly income are you aiming for?
Okay.
What's the absolute essential equipment you need right off the bat, and what's that going to cost? And crucially, how are you planning to find those first few customers? What's the initial marketing thought?
That sounds way less scary. Just focusing on those core things to begin with. And if you decide later you need something more formal, are there resources for that?
Oh, definitely. Libraries, like Volusia County Public Library, often have free programs, templates, workshops to help you build out a more detailed plan if you need it.
Good to know.
And if you do go that route, a typical plan would include like an executive summary, the big picture view. You detail your company description, you'd analyze your local market, see who the competition is, outline your sales and marketing strategy, explain your day-to-day operations, how you'll manage things, and maybe the most important part, financial projections, usually for at least the first 3 years.
Right, the numbers.
Exactly. As Barry Kooks stresses, those financial projections are absolutely vital. They tell you if your whole idea is actually sustainable, if it can make money.
You got to see if it works on paper before you sink a lot of cash into it. Okay, so you've got that basic plan, maybe just answered those key questions. Now comes the maybe less exciting but totally critical stuff, making it official.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
Registering your business
Yeah.
with the local city or county, maybe state, federal authorities. It's just non-negotiable if you want to operate legally.
Right.
The specific requirements, they do vary a lot depending on where you live. But generally, you're looking at registering your business name, getting a tax ID number, and figuring out any necessary licenses or permits for your area. Trying to skip this. Big mistake. Lots of potential headaches later.
Definitely sounds like priority number one.
Yeah, get me.
Legal. And then there's the safety net, right? Insurance.
Oh, absolutely essential.
Yeah.
You have to protect yourself, protect your personal assets. Our sources all highlight general liability insurance. That's a must-have.
What does that cover exactly?
It covers things like potential accidents, someone getting injured on the job, or say you accidentally damage the client's property while you're working there.
Okay.
And if you're investing a decent amount in your equipment, mowers, trimmers, blowers, you should definitely look into property insurance too. Protects against theft or damage to your tools.
Okay, so legal.check. Insured, check. Now, for the fun part maybe. Getting the tools.
Yeah.
What are the absolute basics you need to get started?
All right, yeah, the tools. The cornerstone, obviously, is a good, dependable lawnmower. It's really worth putting some time into researching models. Find one known for quality and reliability. Don't just grab the cheapest one.
Got it. What else?
You'll definitely need a good string trimmer, for the edges and around obstacles. A leaf blower makes cleanup way faster. Basic hand tools, rakes, shovels, and depending on what services you plan to offer right away, maybe a lawn aerator. And if you're doing fertilizing, you got to factor in the cost of seeds, fertilizers. Oh, and critically safety gear. Eye protection, ear protection, sturdy boots, non-negotiable investment in yourself.
Yeah, makes total sense. And spending a bit more on quality tools up front probably saves you hassle down the road, right? Fewer breakdowns.
Absolutely. It can seem like a bigger hit initially, but quality equipment usually means fewer breakdowns, less frustration, and frankly, more professional results. Plus, regular maintenance is key.
Keeping it all running smoothly.
Exactly. It extends the life of your tools, keeps them efficient, and minimizes those unexpected repair costs that can just destroy your profit, especially when it's just you. Some pros even suggest setting aside a little bit from each job just for maintenance funds.
Smart. Okay, you've got the gear. Now, how do you figure out what to actually charge people? This feels like a really critical piece.
It is. This is where you need to find that sweet spot, right? Be competitive, but also make sure you're actually making money. The first step is definitely research. See what other lawn care businesses in your specific local area are charging for similar services.
Okay, scope out the competition.
Yep. But don't just copy them blindly. Your pricing needs to account for factors specific to each job. Like, how far do you have to drive to get there? How big is the lawn? Is it complex? Lots of trees? Flower beds? Weird shapes? What's the terrain like? Is it flat or hilly? How often do they want service? Weekly? Bi-weekly? And are you doing just mowing or adding edging, trimming, maybe fertilizing? All that affects the price.
So definitely not a one-size-fits-all price per lawn. You got to assess each one, and maybe offering some kind of deal can help build loyalty.
Exactly. You could offer, say, a discount if someone signs up for a whole season, a long-term agreement, or maybe a small discount for referring a new customer who signs up.
Ah, referrals.
Yeah, these incentives can be really effective. They encourage repeat business, and you get that valuable word-of-mouth marketing going. Barry Kooks often points out keeping a customer you already have is way cheaper than finding a brand new one.
True. Okay, speaking of finding new customers, how does a one-person show get the word out effectively? What kind of marketing actually works?
Well, there are actually a lot of accessible options, thankfully. Having even a basic professional-looking website is almost essential now. It's like your online shop window.
Right.
List your services, maybe give a general price range, clear contact info. Don't ignore local social media groups, either Facebook groups for your town or neighborhood, maybe next door.
Oh, yeah, those hyper-local ones?
Barry Kooks mentioned those can be surprisingly good for reaching people right nearby. And traditional stuff still works too. Flyers in target neighborhoods, maybe a small ad in a community newsletter.
Okay.
Attending local events like home and garden shows can put you face-to-face with potential clients. And like we just said, always ask happy customers if they'd be willing to refer you.
Don't be shy about asking.
Exactly. And finally, even simple things like magnetic signs on your truck or car turns your vehicle into a moving billboard while you're driving around.
Those are all really practical, doable things. Mix of online, offline. Like say you use those strategies, you land some clients. Now it's all about keeping them happy, right? So they stick with you.
Absolutely. This is where the rubber meets the road, long term.
Yeah.
Consistent, high-quality service, and actually building relationships with your clients, that's paramount.
What does that look like in practice?
It means being reliable. Show up when you say you will. Deliver professional-looking results every single time. Be responsive if they have questions or specific requests. Actively ask for feedback sometimes. And if there is a concern, address it super promptly and professionally. That can actually turn a potential negative into a positive, build even stronger loyalty. Because really, a happy, loyal customer is your absolute best marketing tool. They talk to their neighbors.
Okay, let's flip the script for a second. Thinking from the customer side, what do they typically expect to pay? Understanding that could really help someone figure out where their own pricing should land.
Yeah, that's a really smart perspective to take. Knowing the general market rate helps you price competitively but fairly. Generally, costs could vary quite a bit.
Based on what main factors?
Several key things. The size of the lawn is a big one, usually measured in square footage. How often they want it done, weekly service is usually a bit cheaper per cut than, say, biweekly or monthly.
Okay.
The complexity, we talked about hills, obstacles, lots of trimming needed, that adds time and effort, so it costs more. And of course, any extra services beyond just mowing, like edging, blowing clippings, maybe bagging them.
Right, and customers might see different ways services are priced, different structures.
Exactly. A really common one is just a per service rate. Pay each time you mow. Based on those factors we just mentioned, that could range, maybe $30 on the very low end for a tiny, simple lawn, up to $80 or more for a larger, more complex one.
Okay.
Then you see monthly contracts. Maybe that bundles, say, 4 cuts a month for a set price. That would be somewhere between $100 and $300, again, depending on the lawn.
And longer terms.
Yeah, seasonal contracts are popular. Covering the main growing season, maybe spring through fall. Those could be anywhere from, say, $300 to $1,200. And then annual contracts offer the most comprehensive care, often including things like fertilization, aeration, cleanups. Those could range pretty widely, maybe $1,200 up to $3,000 or even more for large properties.
Wow, quite a range.
It is. But usually, the longer the contract commitment, the better the per-service rate tends to be for the customer.
That gives a really good feel for the pricing landscape. And thinking again, like a customer choosing a service, what should they look for? This gives our listener clues on how to be the company someone chooses.
Right. Smart customers will usually get quotes from a few different companies. They'll compare the price, sure, but also exactly what is included for that price.
Makes sense.
They'll definitely look for testimonials, online reviews, Google, Yelp, places like that to see if the company is reliable and does good work. Checking for credentials and, crucially, insurance is also really important for a homeowner.
Peace of mind.
Exactly. And they'll likely appreciate companies that have clear, maybe flexible pricing options and are upfront about what the fees cover. No hidden charges.
Okay. Good insights. Now, what about someone who's intrigued by all this, but maybe not quite ready to, quit their day job and go all in immediately? Is lawn mowing a decent side hustle to test the waters?
Oh, absolutely. It comes up a lot as a great side hustle option for a few key reasons, really. The initial investment, especially if you start small, can be relatively manageable compared to other businesses. It offers a lot of flexibility. You can often schedule mowing jobs around your main job, evenings, weekends. There's definitely potential to earn good extra income.
Yeah.
And as you get experience, maybe build a small client list, you can always choose to add more services later if you want. Plus, like we mentioned, in most places, there's pretty consistent seasonal demand. People always need their lawns cut in the summer.
Sounds pretty good, but I'm guessing it's not all easy money, right?
Wow.
What are the challenges, the realities of doing this part-time?
Definitely some important things to be aware of. It is physically demanding work. Even on the side, it takes a real time commitment, especially during peak season when grass grows fast.
Right.
You still have those initial startup costs for equipment, even basic stuff. And you're responsible for keeping it maintained, fueled up. And this is important, even as a side hustle. You still need to check your local rules. Permits, licenses, insurance might still be required.
Yeah.
You can't just assume you can skip that because it's part-time.
Good point. Don't fly under the radar legally. So if someone does want to try it on the side, what are the very first, most practical steps?
Okay, step 1 is definitely getting the essential tools. Maybe you start with a good quality push mower if you're just doing smaller yards, a trimmer, a blower. Don't forget the safety gear
Trimming care.
to figure out how you'll transport it. Your car trunk, a
Right.
small trailer.
Okay, tools first.
Then figure out your pricing. Do that local research we talked about. See what others charge. And then you got to start marketing, even on a small scale. Tell friends, family, neighbors. Post on those local online groups. Maybe print some simple flyers for your neighborhood. Word of mouth is huge for starting out.
Makes sense. Start local, start small. Any quick tips for making that side hustle successful?
Yeah, a few things. Absolutely focus on providing really top quality service from day one. That's how you get those crucial early referrals and repeat customers when you don't have a big marketing budget.
Right.
Manage your time really well. Don't overcommit, especially if you have another job. Prevent burnout. And maybe stay somewhat updated on basic lawn care trends or best practices. Even checking resources from groups like the National Association of Landscape Professionals can give you good ideas, even part-time.
Okay, cool. So let's say someone does that. They try to side hustle. They like it. Maybe it grows. And they decide, okay, I'm ready. I want to make this a proper, maybe still small, but a real lawn mowing company. What are the ground up steps then?
All right, making the leap. The first big step often involves upgrading or solidifying your equipment. That basic push mower might not cut it anymore if you're going full-time, doing more lawns. Investing in a commercial-grade mower gas, maybe even battery these days, is usually a smart move for durability and efficiency.
Okay, better gear.
Beyond the mower, definitely a high-quality string trimmer, a powerful blower, and an edge that really gives that crisp, professional look that clients appreciate.
Hmm.
And as you grow or want to offer more, then you might think about adding things like a hedge trimmer, maybe a chainsaw for small branch removal, an aerator, and yeah, probably a dedicated trailer to haul everything efficiently.
So investing in more robust tools is key. What's next in building that basic company structure?
Developing a real marketing strategy becomes more important. Start by really defining your brand. What's your business name going to be? Maybe get a simple logo designed.
A tagline?
Okay. Get professional business cards and maybe flyers printed. The Small Business Administration, the SBA, actually has some great resources online for branding and marketing materials for small businesses.
Oh, good tip.
And definitely establish that online presence. A simple website is great, but at minimum, claim your Google My Business profile, maybe Yelp. People need to be able to find you easily online when they search for lawn care near me, and use social media show photos of your great work.
Right, be visible online. It sounds like even if it's just you, you need to think like a bigger operation when it comes to branding and marketing. We touched on pricing before, but any specific thoughts when setting prices for a more formal company structure?
Yeah, you need to get a bit more systematic. Beyond just knowing competitor rates, really analyze how much time each type of job realistically takes you. Include travel time, setup, cleanup, everything.
Okay, track your time.
Clearly define how lawn size, the condition of the lawn, is it overgrown, and service frequency will impact your price. And definitely think about offering price breaks or package deals, like weekly service gets a slightly better rate than biweekly. That encourages regular, consistent income for you.
Good incentive. And finally, the part people might dread but can't ignore, the formal legal and financial setup.
Absolutely critical for a real business. You have to officially register your business. Decide on the structure. Are you a sole proprietor? Maybe form an LLC for liability protection. The SBA has guides on choosing a business structure too.
Okay.
Get all the required local and state licenses and permits. Don't guess, find out exactly what you need. Then, insurance. Talk to an insurance agent who understands small service businesses to make sure you have adequate coverage. General liability, maybe commercial auto if you have a dedicated truck, equipment coverage.
Get professional advice on insurance.
Yes. And taxes. Understand your tax obligations from the get-go. Federal, state, maybe local. Consider talking to a tax professional early on. It can save you so much stress and potential money down the line.
Okay, wow. So you've done all that. You've put in the work, planned, registered, insured, marketed. You're out there mowing. Clients seem happy. How do you actually know if you're making money, if the business is sustainable? Let's talk about the bottom line profit margin.
Yeah, this is where you really need to understand your numbers to know if it's working long term. Your profit margin, basically, it's the percentage of your total revenue, all the money coming in that's left over after you've paid all your business expenses.
Okay, how do you calculate that?
The basic formula is pretty simple. You take your total revenue, subtract your total expenses. Then you divide that result by your total revenue. And finally, multiply by 100 to get the percentage.
Got it. Revenue minus expenses, divided by revenue.
Exactly. So for a lawn business, revenue is all the money from mowing, trimming, maybe fertilizing jobs. Expenses are things like fuel, oil, mower maintenance, repairs, insurance premiums, marketing costs, maybe software fees, phone bill, everything it costs to run the business.
Okay, so what are the big things that really influence whether that profit margin percentage is high or low for a lawn care business?
Several factors really move the needle. The size and, importantly, the density of your client base matters. Lots of clients clustered together means less travel time, more efficiency.
Ah, route density.
Exactly. Your pricing strategy obviously is huge. Too low, and you won't make enough profit. Too high, and you might lose customers. Keeping a really close eye on your operating expenses is critical. Always look for ways to trim costs without hurting quality. Fuel, supplies, efficient routing, Seasonality plays a big role. You need to maximize your earnings during the busy season to carry you through the slower winter months, if you have them, and diversifying your services, as we mentioned, adding things like spring-fall cleanups, mulching, small landscaping jobs that can bring in extra revenue streams and potentially boost overall profit.
It sounds like you constantly need to be looking at the business and tweaking things. Are there specific strategies someone can use to actively try and improve their profit margin?
Oh, definitely. You can be proactive. Implementing really efficient route planning is a big one. There's software that can help optimize your daily routes to minimize driving time and fuel costs.
Okay, route optimization.
Investing in quality, maybe more fuel-efficient equipment, yeah, it costs more upfront, but lower fuel consumption and fewer breakdowns save money in the long run. Smart marketing, not just spending money, but focusing it. Maybe targeting specific neighborhoods known for needing lawn care or running promotions for existing clients to add service. Consider joining industry associations. They often provide resources, educational materials, maybe even discounts on supplies or insurance. Plus, networking.
Good idea.
And maybe the most crucial thing, regularly review your financial performance. Don't just look at your bank balance. Track your income and expenses carefully, maybe using simple accounting software. Use that data to see where the money is going and where you can make improvements. Make decisions based on numbers, not just gut feeling.
So pulling this all together then, it really sounds like starting even a one-person lawn care business. While it might seem simple from the outside, it actually requires a lot of careful thought and planning across, well, a whole range of different areas.
Precisely. Yeah, it's not just about liking mowing lawns. You've got to be honest about your skills, put together at least a basic plan, navigate all the legal stuff like registration and insurance, invest smartly in your equipment, figure out pricing that works, market yourself effectively.
That's a lot of hats to wear.
It is. And underlying all of that is the commitment to doing great work for your clients and really managing your finances diligently so you can actually achieve a healthy, sustainable profit margin. That's the goal.
But for someone who really is looking for that independence, who wants to build their own thing, maybe be outdoors more, and achieve some financial success on their own terms, it definitely sounds like it can be a really rewarding path if you approach it strategically like you've outlined.
Absolutely. It holds a lot of potential.
Right.
And maybe just to leave you with something to think about.
Yeah.
Consider this. What unique value, what special skill or service could you bring to your lawn care business? Something that would genuinely make you stand out from the crowd in your local area. Because finding that unique edge, that's often key to building those loyal, long-term customer relationships that really sustain a business. That's something worth mulling over.